Facebook and YouTube. Woo. Let me find us on Facebook. Woohoo! How's everybody on this hot Thursday? There we are. So, I'm going to give you guys a second, but not a big second. Where's my thing? Hey, Miss Stacy Swooper. Sassy Stacy Swooper. Oh boy, oh boy. I will tell you, speaking of the swooper thing. Oh, my phone's not. There we go. My grandson and I have just been working our little fingers to the bones on this. And he gets so upset with me because we'll do something. Oh, it's just starting to let people in. Okay, well, I'm just jabbering, waiting for people to get in. So we've been working our fingers to the bones. Hey, Christy. And we'll do something, and I'm like, and it'll spur a new idea. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Charlie, this makes me want to do this. And he's like, Ma, we're almost done. I know, Charlie, but this and this is going to make it even that much better. And so one of these days, hey, Abby Sue, my middle name is Sue. Also, I'm a Sharon Sue. Anyway, so one of these days will be complete. He'll be back here tomorrow. And I had hoped to go live by tomorrow. But we have come across one little issue that there's a setting somewhere we can't figure out how to find. And I've been researching it. And I'll research today again after I get off my live. And we're almost there. But man, is it sweet. So Founders, I'm getting ready to schedule a live in the Founders group to show you the difference of where we are now. And we'll get you guys going, and then we'll get everybody else going. And I'm telling you guys, this is going to be just the best thing ever. Hey, Amy, you did make it. Hey, Jenny. Jenny. I sent you an email with a question. And let's see, who else is on? Santa Barbara. Annette, you live in Santa Barbara? We did a bunch of workout in, Mr. Wilson, help me. Where were we when we were out at Butch's? Can't remember the name of that little town right there by Santa Barbara. But we spent a lot of time out there. Okay. Today is our big reveal. I gave you kind of a sneak peek, and of course, when I give a sneak peek and, testing things out, sometimes I do make, no, it wasn't Paso Robles, it was something else still. Paso Robles was right there, but that's not the town she lived in. It's going to bug me if we don't figure it out. Anyway, I did throw in a little bitty extra thing. And then I used that little bitty extra thing today and went, oh, ho, ho. So I'm excited. I got to look at YouTube. And for some reason, my software doesn't let me see. Oh, it does let me see the comments. Okay, but I think the comments I see are YouTube. Misty, Robin, Kathy, Diane, are you guys on YouTube? Yeah, because I'm looking at Facebook and I see you other guys on Facebook. Okay, gotcha. All right, so I always love reveals. They're so fun. And I just love them. So I showed you a few things the other day. And I made a couple of little adjustments and threw in a bonus. Robin, okay, thank you. You are on YouTube. Hot here in Florida. You know, our ACs, our house is a big long rectangle and there's an AC unit on both sides. And we had the AC guy back out again today because it just won't, and they're new units. They're only 4 years old and they're just not, yay, Kim, you made it. They're just not keeping up. The side of the house that I'm on, that unit is only pulling at 80 right now, so I'm a little hot. And then the other side that we live on is at 77. So it is what it is, I guess. Having a nice week. Yes, we are. We are doing well, having a nice week. My blood pressure has been a little janky this week. But it is what it is. Okay. It is 5:06. Hey, Christine. Christine, I'm working on that thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the first video because you guys haven't seen the whole texture yet. And so I'm going to start the first video so that we can get to the actual reveal, because the first video or so, I hide it. Because I'm mean. Nope, because I like the fun. All right, so let's go to this first video real quick, guys. We're ready. We are getting ready for this big reveal. So what I have, I'm going to show you some little extra shortcuts as well. So this particular board here, out of my way, this particular board is 13 inches long by 8 inches tall. We did that, A, to fit a good size form and template, but B, to also your favorite mug templates or tumbler templates will also fit this board. And in thinking of us in clay, I centered the main design in the center so that if you did a mug, it could be centered. If you did a tumbler, it could be centered. And then you'll see how I'm going to center this design on this dish that I'm going to make. I'm not making a mug tonight, but I'm going to show you that if you did, this mug would be centered based on your template, how much border, leather looking basket weave border you will get. Okay, so first off, what is that? A little string. I don't want that in there. I don't want that string in there. Okay, so first off, I'm compressing this piece of clay. This happens to be B-Mix. Now I've been working with these boards for a while, so I went thinner on this. It's under a 1/4 inch. I have a little tape measure here. Let me see. Yeah, it's under a 1/4 of an inch. I would suggest you go thicker until you're comfortable with these boards. These boards don't stick. And I also always have one of these. I always have one of my thickness sticks with me because once I put the design in, I like to use it all around the edges to kind of square things back up when I get my design on there, because invariably when you go to lift your design, you will stretch it a bit, and there's just really not a way to not do that. Okay, so that's that piece. Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to move this to the side, and well, I'm going to show you, this is the width of the board. And what I'm going to do is this. Let me come here. Ha! So So I'm laying my board down and I'm putting my piece of clay over it that I've already compressed. Okay, now I'm going to come back down to you. Why did I do that? Okay, so I have this on my board and it's just sitting on there. And when I roll it, it's going to grow. And why did I not show you the design? Because I'm saving that for the end. Get my little balls of clay off this. I have a trash can right here, as a lot of you know. Looks like I just throw it in the floor, but I don't. I have a trash can right here. Okay. These do not take a whole lot of pressure. They're deep. And the type of material it is. So I'm going to start primarily in the center and lightly roll out. And I feel where my end is. And then I can come from the center and roll down. Now, if you wanted to put a great big piece of clay on that, because let's say maybe you want to put this rectangle in the center of the platter, my suggestion would be don't roll off the edges like I did. 1 second. Okay, I apologize. I forgot to turn the phone ringer off. And of course, as soon as I start recording, the phone's going to ring. So anyway, I just wouldn't go deep off the edges if you wanted to make this bigger and just have a design in the center. For these, with a fun shape where the design is all inside that shape. Now this would be a good one to put a great big piece of clay on, get your design, and don't press over the edge. And then you could cut out a template for like our big farmhouse platter, and this design would be right in the center, okay? But on just a plain rectangle, you know, maybe not so much. But if you get in the habit, I've switched my roller to the thinner side. So kind of get in the habit of coming to the end. Whoops, what happened here? My iPad just ran out of battery. Hold please. We're back up. And it looks like it's charging now, so we'll see. Anyway, I've switched to the smaller side, and I try to, when I hit the end of it, kind of flick up just to avoid flicking down. But if you're just going to use it for a mug or the size of template that came with it, that's not going to hurt it any, whichever way you go. And I'm not pressing hard, you can tell, because I'm barely leaving marks. And if it's easier for you to go one direction over other, turn it. There's no law that says you have to go this way then that way. Just turn it and make it simple. Make it easy on yourself, and you don't have to get into a contortionist body to do this. Okay, now I'm going to come back with the big one, and now I'm going to just kind of lightly go up and back, because this should all be in place, pushed into the design. So you certainly don't want to start out this way, because you'll make that design like double exposed. I'm going to make sure I get these areas good. And again, it really doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. And my design isn't coming clear out to the ends. Well, it is going to come out to the end of this, only on this particular form and template, because I wanted to give you the biggest dish that I could give you. Stacy, hopefully it'll fit in your kiln. All right, there you go. Now,
You can do it as is, or you can cut it off. I tend, it's a terrible knife. That one's got a broken blade. My good one's over there. I tend to cut the excess off if I'm not going to use it before I flip it, just because I find it cleaner and easier for me to have that out of my way, like this. And that's just kind of being petty on my part. Somebody just opened the door and let all the dogs in. Let me pause you for a minute. Okay, I have a room full of dogs. Our AC guy is here because our AC hasn't been working properly. And you know, when you're having over 100 temp days, you really kind of need that AC. All right, so I'm going to just kind of press this one last time, just to make sure I got a good impression. I did a video a week or two ago on tips and tricks on using these boards, and really take some scrap clay and just practice pressing it into the board and seeing what kind of pressure you need. You'd only have to do it a few times, but it will really save you some frustration, right? And that's still going. Okay, so what I do here is I like to kind of get a piece of the edge. Cut this back off. That's excess. Yeah, I'm getting a little just fussy now. Oh, I didn't get this side, did I? I thought it looked funny. Okay, so what I like to do is with flat fingers, just kind of come around the edge and just lightly pop that edge up, kind of all the way around, if I can. If I can't, I'm not going to worry too much about it because I'll get it up in places, which will then allow me to lift it the rest of the way. So like I've got, this is excess, I'm going to pull that off. Okay. So I just lightly, where I get these edges picked up, and then my rolling pin is filthy, but I can roll it over my pen, or I can take a flat hand. See, I've got this side lifting as well. I take a flat hand here and a flat hand here and just kind of lift this on one side and then do the same on this side. And if you'll notice, it all popped up. So I'm going to move this because I don't want you to see the design yet. Oh crap, I forgot. Oh, I said a bad word. I forgot to do something. Now that I've lifted it, I might have messed this up because I lifted and I might not get it back in the proper hole. So what I like to do while I have this still on the board, and like I said, I may double expose this because of what I just did. So I'm going to go lightly. I want to show you a little bonus that I put in here. As you know from the cookie cutters, this basket weave is part of the design. So I created a stencil for the whole size of this. Now I'm not going to push this down very hard because I started lifting and I'm afraid I'm going to double expose with much pressure. So if I jack this up, you get the idea, and I got ahead of myself because I'm so excited for you to see this. So I'm going to go lightly. I'm going really lightly to let this go in. And this is how I do double texture. And I'm probably going to double expose these ends, but my design is going to be pretty much in the middle anyway. So again, before you start to pull your design off the board, if you're going to use a stencil on the back, you would have done that first. So, you know, do as I say, not as I do. And we'll see when I flip it. It'll either work or I will be doing another one and you'll never see this. I think I got this down good. All right. Well, let me get some underglaze.
Does that tell you what kind of day I had today? Oh my gosh, it's been a day. You know, some days you have days that you just should go back to bed. Today was one of those days for me. I was so excited to pull that texture off and I went, oh, I forgot the stencil. But it actually worked out and you'll see it in just a few minutes. And my iPad's up here. It just stopped working right in the middle of things. And my phone rang right in the middle of things. And Mr. Wilson threw the dogs in here with me because the AC men were in here. And what did I do? I just had to keep going and roll with the punches. And you know that's kind of what clay's all about, right? You just got to roll with it. You just got to roll with it. So Kathy asked a question, is the clay on the board large enough quantities to wrap around the base mold? You know, that's a really good question. I don't know. When I start the next video, I'll go run and pull the base template up and see if one of those sizes, because this is actually 12. I think that template is, oh, well, shoot, duh. I got the board right here. You thought I was going to show you that texture, didn't you? 13. It's 13 inches wide. Now, remember, you could actually bring it longer. You just won't have texture there, but you do have a stencil. So that might work. But I'll go look. I'll go pull it up back there on the computer as to how wide they are when I start this next video. But in the meantime, this, my friends, is a bonus. You've got a bonus. And you know, you can use this on anything. You don't even have to use it with the texture. You could glaze this and cut out your favorite mug template or tumble template. And now you have this to go with it. It's so cute. It's all jangly. Anyway, let's start the next video. Let me see if I got everything. Melody, you love the basket weave. Sharon, you think you can keep us all on the edge of their seat longer and longer and longer. I like it. I like it. Oh, and just wait. In Sassy Swoopers, do you know how many edge of your seat things there's going to be? Wait till you see what we're going to be able to do inside there. In fact, Charlie and I, Wednesday, what's today? Friday. Monday, Charlie and I actually went live inside that platform, that community, just to test it out. And I mean, it's not Facebook. It's not YouTube. It's our own little community. And you just hit that live button and you're live right inside there. It will send you email notifications. There will be a schedule in there that you can see, you know, when we're going to go live. Although I'll be doing a bunch of pop-ins. But if you set it up to send you emails, you'll get the email notification. And I'll try to always, at least, if I'm going to do a pop-up live, at least give like a 15 to 30 minute notice, so to speak. But what happens when I click end the live, it just kind of like Facebook just automatically puts the recording right there within the community. Those of you that had been way back when in that Slab to Fab, you would go to that community to look at your classes and things like that, but you couldn't couldn't communicate in there, and it was just your classes, and then you had to go to Facebook for all the other things. Man, this is going to be a one and done. It does some really sweet things. Anyhow, let's go to the next video, and I'll go look up that base template.
All right, I've got some underglaze. This underglaze is actually called Unique Single Stroke Under or Overglaze. And this can be applied to greenware or bisque, and it can fire cone 6 to cone 10. It'll fire to cone 5 too. So this happens to be Trinity Ceramics in Dallas carries our product, and this is their own brand of underglaze. And from what I understand, they're actually going to rebottle it, remarket it, and everything. And the owner, the new owner, Connor and his wife. Connor has a big handlebar mustache and goatee, and very known for that. So it's my understanding that this is going to be bottled somehow using that theme. So I'm excited. I can't wait. And I have not tried this before. So we are going to try this. Again, as far as I know, it's only available at Trinity. They do have online shopping. But I'm going to just pour a little in here and make a mess. And I'm going to add a little water to this. I mean, it looks perfect, but I'm going to add a little water because I want to thin this down some for the back of this. And I'm just using this color because when I do some of the design on the other side, I want to use this color as well. So I'm just, and remember, I didn't get to roll this down very good because goofy me, I started to pull it up before I put the stencil on. Got ahead of myself, you know. Make sure I'm recording. That always panics me. And I'm just using a big, this is a 3/4 inch soft grip. And I'm not sure where I got that. I probably got this at Trinity as well. I get most of my stuff there because I go deliver product to them. And we're going to be putting together a little workshop there too. So if you're local, keep an eye out for that. We're going to put a little project workshop, hands-on project workshop. So we're working on that. Now, again, brand new to this underglaze. I don't know the coverage. I can still blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. I can still, gosh darn. I can still see streaks. Therefore, I know I need to cover it a little better myself. Gosh, what was so hard about that, Sharon? And it very well could be because I did add a little water instead of trying it as is first, which would have been the smart thing to do. Now remember, this is also green clay. And so because I'm just using one color, I could actually, well no I couldn't. I won't have the stencil on it. I was going to say I could touch it up after the bisque fire, but I won't have the stencil on. So I really want to get my coverage. Am I in your space? I really want to get good coverage right now. And from what I can tell, this looks pretty good. So if I would let it dry, I could see if I need another coat. Walk away, Sharon. Walk away. Just walk away. All right. I'm going to just walk away. I'm going to let this dry a little bit and see if I need another coat before I pull the stencil off. We'll be back.
Again, I repeat, Do you see what my day has been? I couldn't even spit out the words. I see the streaks, for goodness sakes. One of those days. I did take my blood pressure a little bit ago, and it was a little high. That could be why. So Kathy, the small vase template is just under 13 inches. So if you took this or the design and cut it and wrapped it or cut it out on that template, you would be able to wrap it around. And again, that design will be somewhat in the middle. So it will make an adorable vase. And then I also have, okay, so is Chyat, Chyat? Is that a first name, a last name? Give me your name so that I can actually be personal with you. We have a leather series that, because and Mr. Wilson does leather. So we have all the leather tools, but instead of us just stamping clay, we are continuing to, you're welcome, Kathy, do our best to create this leather series. Old family home. Oh, it would. And Stacy, I'm going to show you something that would make this fit in your kiln, because I can do that. All right. So I think we're getting close to seeing the design. So Misty, on the edge of your seat here. Okay, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that coverage is going to be good enough. So I'm actually going to pull the stencil off just so you can see how pretty that is. And I'll just set that right there. What a pretty design that is. Now, I'll have a decision to make. Do I want this on the inside and the texture on the outside? Or do I want the texture on the inside and this on the outside? And I'm going to tell you, for this project, I am actually going to put the texture, I'm going to put the stencil stuff on the outside. Because I want you to see the texture on the inside to go with the shape that we created. And oh, what is all of that? I'm going to explain all of that shortly. So, and probably for this first live, I should probably not have done this because I'm going to have to press that down. It's going to be a while for that dries. So I may do another one, and because I don't think I'm going to have time for this to dry, I may just run another one with just texture and then make the dish and make this and show you the outcome, because I don't think this is going to dry. But yeah, I'm going to probably do that. Anyway, we'll be back. Did your screen go black? Mine did. You're very welcome. But you know what? You still didn't give me your first name. Unless I missed it. Anyway, yes, Mr. Wilson does leather. I don't know if you guys all remember, but he also, he did until he started doing this with me, but he makes knives. Hunting knives, fishing knives, from a flat piece of steel. He grinds the blades and then he pressure dyes his own wood for the handles. Oh, hey. Hi, Carice. I should have known that, right? But anyway, so he does hunting knives, and I'll have to get him to bring those out and show those to you. Beautiful work, but hasn't been able to do that for a while. Yeah, the color is fantastic. Again, this color is, right now it's called Unique Single Stroke. And this is TU 680 Aqua. I hope when they relabel these, they come up with funner names for the, oh, okay. Comes up with the funner names for this stuff. And, but this is a 2-ounce bottle. And this retailed for $5.70 for 2 ounces. That's pretty good. So Mr. Wilson just brought me a knife. This is one of the older sheaths that he did, so it's not very fancy, but he did make that. And this knife needs clean. Here are the knives. And he grinds this from just a sheet of steel. I better not touch that. It's probably sharp. But, and then this is actually, he actually creates the brass thingy. And I know what that's called, but it's one of those, I don't have a brain days. And then look at that handle. And so the shape of that is just perfect. This is a buck knife, I guess you'd call it. And then, like, this is a big one. Look at this baby. I mean, they're dirty. He needs to clean them. But I mean, this is created from a block of brass that he cuts down and has a metal lathe and does the whole thing. So these are just a couple samples. If we ever get to retire, this is what he wants to do. Yes, he does not hot heat forge them. Well, he heat treats the blade first and then grinds the blades on a grinder. He doesn't do the old blacksmith thing where it's all heated in the fire and goes chink, chink. He didn't do that kind. But it did start out just a square flat piece of metal. All right. A home full of talents. Yeah, the tang, that's it. All right, so that wasn't the design. I guess this next one will be Toad Puddle. Oh, that's the name. I was like, I don't have a Toad Puddle. My last name is Hoppy, though. I'm not a toad. Thank you. I will. Well, he's watching. He can see that you like those. All right, let's go to the next video. I think it's going to show the design. All right, just for fun, I rolled out another one, and I've already done the rolling and everything. And now I'm actually going to go ahead and clean up my mess here a little bit so that I can flip this over so that you can see it. You're going to see the full design here in a second. I'm going to show you how I use these because it might make it easier for you. Okay, so first off, are you ready for this? Are you ready, ready, ready? Yeah, that's still going. So there is your full design. You've got your basket weave, your floral, and then your actual flowers. And this is what, if this was something that was going to need to stay square, that's when I use these and just kind of tighten the design back up from pulling it off. So if this was a little out of whack, I'd do this and just kind of true it back up. Okay? But what I'm going to do is this. I don't know why I did it this way. I'm going to put this back on here centered. My board. Okay. Now I have that centered. And I
when I try to put these on here like this, well, I can't see that center anymore. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So how do I know if I have this center? So here's what I did. We took and marked, and that was kind of dumb, on the actual board. See that mark? That mark all the way around, there are marks. And that is center. So I'm going to take this, and we mark these centers, and then I did these edges in dark so I could see them. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to line up my mark here to my mark here, my mark here, and you can also do this. Where's that? So you can say, okay, there's that mark. I know my head's in your way. There's that mark. There's that mark. And there's that mark. So I marked them on my clay. So now I can take this and go, okay, I'm in the center. And now I need this to be down so that my design is going to be centered in my form. Okay. And then we also did this for when I'm going to do this. I'm going to, do I want to do it that way? Yeah, I can do it that way. I can do this, and I see I've got the marks here, and I've got the marks here. So I see that that's also centered, and I can put my peg in, just like that. Okay. Now I've got everything centered. How exciting is that? I'll be right back. Oh no, shit. There. Okay, so you heard me say a curse word because I went to turn that off and I was like, oh, shoot. Of course, I didn't say shoot. I was like, oh, shoot. Because I didn't think that I'd been recording that video. And so if you don't like those words, I'm really sorry. But they do pop out of my mouth from time to time. And then, for some reason, I forgot to take my videos to go at the end of the video to automatically come back to me. And on my screen, I couldn't find it. So, yes, it did go black. That's okay. I just forgot to, on my video, to make it go back to this screen. And I had to find it on my screen to click it. I am so sorry. Told you, it was a bad day. But I'm better now. Okay, so if you are fairly new to clay, I'm going to show you how I did the dish with the stencil on the bottom. And it's very tricky because you can't touch it. So if you're very new to clay, I think I would start with just the texture and or put the texture on the outside. But then, of course, the flowers are going to be on the bottom. Or just follow what I do and just take your time. And if you smudge it, that's okay. You will learn, right? You will learn by that. When you have pre-glazed with your stencil, you have to, when you set your stuff down, you can't
slide it side to side or you're going to smear it. You have to be careful. And then think about this. If you have, see, I'm putting the glaze on the outside. So I have to be able to push that down without smearing that glaze. So I'm going to show you a little trick. And I think it's this video coming up. If not, it'll be the next one. All right. So I did the first one. And I took it outside to set it in the sun and forgot about it and cracked it all to high heaven. So I'm going back to the stenciled one, and it's dry enough. So we're gonna try this and see what happens. So it's dry, so I'm gonna flip it over and put it on the back side of this. And what I want to do is where I had glaze on my fingers, I'm going to take that off, which I don't need to right now. I could do it later. But I want this pretty centered, and it seems to be. I don't want to slide it. I have glaze on the bottom. So I want to show you. Mark, 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 right there. And then I have one on this side. I took this board and created a center so that I could center on this with my form, because otherwise, how am I going to do that? So what I'm going to do is find my center on my marks. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to twist it. I just twisted it when I did it. Okay, so I'm going to take this and try not to do what I'm doing. Don't twist it, but I can line it right back up. Now I'm going to press this down and flip it very gently, and this should come right off because it was already off. And I'm going to kind of tap it, and then I'm going to try to hit that center hole. I already had the peg in. Where's my hole? Yeah, I have the peg in. Just wanted to make sure because it's been one of those days, guys. There. And I just hit the hole. Now, I can't touch this. So I went the hard route here. But I'm going to take this piece of cloth and I'm going to lay it over. Got clay all over it. And I'm going to use my hands and I'm going to press. Now I'll let this clay get pretty dry. Probably drier than I should have done. I am not moving my material either. Now that I've got it where it belongs, I'm leaving it there. Because otherwise I will smear the glaze. These are just little tips and tricks learned the hard way. Where do you think I get all this out of the box thinking? Because I've tried it and I've learned the hard way. Please tell me I turned on. I did. Okay, now I'm going to take my rib and hold my material so it doesn't move and slide and smear my glaze. I'm going to do this just once because I want this to go down. And again, I'm holding my material tightly. Just like this. I might end up with a little fold because I didn't unfold that over there. Let's peek at this. Okay. The glaze isn't coming off, so I'm going to go down better and take these folds out.
press this in. Again, I want the shape of my form in here. And I did let this dry a little too much. Okay, pull that off. And look at that. I didn't mess up my glaze. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this. I'm going to come in to my template. This is a more tricky way of doing things. Kind of took you the harder road first. Just like that. So I did have it slightly, almost, well, no, that's pretty much about the same. And then what I will do is I'm not going to go around this edge with a sponge because I would just jack up my clay. What I will do is I will wait until this is bone dry. I'm just going to press this in just a bit because it was a little on the drier side. And notice I mostly use this, so I'm not going to leave fingerprints. And there. Now I'm going to let this dry, like I said, and then when it's bone dry, I will lightly sand around the edges, and I use a special cloth sanding that I'll go around that edge very gently so that I don't jack up my glaze. In the meantime, I'm going to let this set up so that I can flip it and show you the other side.
Okay, so yes, Sue, at times I can have a potty mouth. Now, I try to keep a good hold on that. But after I had just done that whole video and I went to click on it and it looked like I hadn't recorded it, it was one of those potty mouth moments. But, you know, it is what it is. And if you like these tips, this is nothing compared to what you're going to get in the Sassy Swoopers. So if you're not on the Sassy Swooper waitlist, you best hurry because that Sassy Swooper waitlist has already exceeded the number of people that we want to start this group with. Now, again, just because people are on the list, I don't expect all of them will actually sign up. So don't let that deter you from getting on the list thinking you won't get in. So get on that list because, oh my gosh. So y'all are laughing at me, huh? Well, that's okay because I laugh too. Because to be honest with you, I didn't even remember doing that. And I thought, like I said, that I hadn't recorded that, which is why I actually recorded a second one. And then when I was putting my videos in order, I went, oh, well, that was on. And obviously I didn't watch it to the end and hear my, oh shit. But it is what it is. Okay, so let's go. We're almost finished. I think this is the last video, and then I'm going to actually show you these in person. Will sheet work also for the cloth? Oh, I meant to address that question. Okay, a good sheet will also work. I can't remember. This is called broadcloth, and it's kind of stretchy. And it's the texture, the feel of it is kind of more slippery than just a cotton sheet. Watch this stretch. Okay, so it has a different feel to it. It's that almost silk-like, and that will go over your clay and or your glaze. Now I'll let that glaze dry really well. And in doing that, my clay was almost too dry because I didn't put that clay on plastic. So if you're going to do this, where you're going to put, whether you're going to put the glaze on the inside or the outside, you need that glaze to dry pretty good. So whichever side you have the glaze on, obviously the other side will go down on the table, but put it on plastic. Sometimes I will even lightly spritz with water my plastic and then put that piece of clay on there so that the bottom doesn't get all dried out while I'm waiting for the glaze on the top to dry. And yeah, a sheet will probably work. The biggest key, when you put your material over it, don't slide the material around. Use it to press, but that cushions between your hands and your glaze because your fingers are hot. And a lot of times that will take, even if the glaze just barely not quite dry, it'll stick to your fingers, and then you go to press again, and now you've taken that glaze and spread it all over. Somebody asked about plastic. Who asked about the plastic? Somebody, it might have been on here. Yes, founders recognize this trick with the colored clay. You can use a heat gun. I use a heat gun a lot. In fact, my heat gun sits right there, and I've actually shown you, and I have scars because I'll go to put the heat gun back and it'll roll over and hit me and burn the bejesus out of my hands and arms. But so you can use a heat gun. Again, though, I will caution you on that. And the caution is, if your glaze is pretty thick and you just heat, it's going to start cracking. Well, when it goes in the kiln, it's going to melt back together, but sometimes it can get not lumpy, but not super smooth. That's one caution. So I would keep my heat gun up like this and let it get the glaze. I would also still put my clay on, I would spritz water on plastic, but then you don't want to heat where the plastic is because that plastic, when the heat hits it, will go like that. Need to see that again? Like that. But the other thing, if your glaze is thicker, on the thicker side, which I tend to glaze heavy like that, because I want to get my couple coats of underglaze in one, because I have no patience. By the way, this stuff, this Unique, says to use apply one coat to greenware or bisque with a brush. And you saw I did several, which means it's kind of thick. Well, using a heat gun with your underglaze and or glaze, especially the underglaze, you can dry the top of that glaze, but it's still wet underneath. And so using plastic, I have found if I put plastic over it and my glaze was still a little wet underneath or still slightly damp, it tends to stick to the plastic. And the heat of my hands goes through and kind of melts that glaze. And when I pull my plastic off, I tend to pull glaze off. But I don't find that happening with material. And especially, this is called broadcloth. This is good. I learned that trick from when I hosted the Dean McRain Colored Clay Workshop. We learned about that there. And I use it all the time. Can you tell? I use it a lot. Look at this. Look at that. And this color is not from today. I really should wash it. Yeah, I really should wash it. Maybe I will. Okay, let's watch this last video. Oh gosh, I gotta hurry because I'm keeping you guys. Okay, here's the last video, I think. This may be from last class. Hold on, let me see. Hello. All right, I had this outside. I went out and grabbed it. Now, this is dry. I want to put it on something. You would thought I would have been prepared for this. And stick it on this. That'll work. And I want to flip it and
look, it's already released. I do not want to slide it around. I do not want to slide that glaze around at all. So now my pin is already stuck in there, and you know, I'm just using it to pop that up. And look at this. Is that not just gorgeous? And look how centered. Do you know what work it was to create all this and get it to work? Holy cow. But it all fits perfect. The line's right on the inside. You still have an edge. And if you want to lift your edge at this point, you can. And there you have it. There you go. Woo woo. Okay, so what do you think of that? So I did do that other one, and I never did flip it yet. Let me do this. Let me just flip it. And I'll try to hold it up here because I don't have my overhead on. Now, I didn't expect that to stay. If you wait too long, you can kind of pop it out a little and you hear and see the suction. And I should be using my plucker doodad. But here's this one. Can you see it without me dropping it? Here's another one. And I'm going to show you something. Hold on. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that form back in there. I'm sorry. I'm going to put that form back in there and flip it back over. And then I'm going to use one of these, either the sunflower or the rose stamp. Remember, you also have 4 stamps, 2 different sizes of each of the flowers. But what I'll do is for this, I went to pick it up and it's still floppy. I'll roll the clay and I'll attach 4 balls, and I may do 6 because this is long. And once I get those put on there, then I'm going to take a stamp and press in. And here's a sample of that. See that? That's on this. And I had a funky mold that I put this on. But for these, I use this stamp, but it doesn't look like it, does it? I just stamp those right in the middle to make those flat. And I'll do the same thing on here. And if you push it kind of way in, see, it looks like a pinwheel more so than a flower. But if you go like this, then you see it's the flower from this kit. So that's what I'll do on those for feet. And this might be somewhat set up now. I can pick this up. Look at that. I mean, I didn't jack up that glaze at all. And you watched me do this in real time. So, material. And that's on the outside. Now, normally I would put the smooth glazed stencil on the inside because, you know, you don't want to hit with that. But this is going to be not so much functional. And this particular texture, I don't think I would want on the outside because you would miss this gorgeousness that's on the inside. But I did it that way because I wanted you to see, 1, that you could, and 2, the texture.
Now, yes, if it was on the inside, it would probably be 3D. I love texturing the feet. Yes, it is a very nice surprise. I actually had started this. This is that nasty saying, and it's got a flower. It's got a rose on the inside of it, and it got left out and dried out, so there's no handle or nothing on it. So it'll be a paintbrush holder. You guys ever do that? It's going to be a mug, or it's going to be this, or it's going to be that, and you walk away and forget about it, so it becomes it becomes something else. And, you know, got to roll with the punches. Okay, so is there any other questions? Yeah, I think that would look 3D. I absolutely love this. I think it was it Amy that asked if you could make these where they'll wrap around? I will tell you this. This one, see the bend in it? If you created a mug, a vase, a tumbler, this will, oh, here, I'm gonna do this. And the clay was still green. You could take this and wrap this around it and roll it in where it's stuck and probably be able to glaze that. There's other material you can use, and there's and I have it, and I have used it. I used it when I did my Noni. I did a video on, but it's a one and done use kind of thing. Kind of once you use it, it's not all that great anymore. And I don't like to put out one and done things because, you know, when you buy something, I think you want to use it more than once. Or I would want to use it more than once. So the actual kit then, let me move this stuff out of my way. What? You have your board. You have your template and form. Now I will tell you, we made this 13 by 8. So a lot of your forms and templates will fit on this. I remember somebody asked about farmhouse. This with farmhouse would probably work. The Baroque rectangle would probably be gorgeous with this. It would probably almost work perfect. So we try to design that way. So you have this, you have this, you have this. I don't want to drop, and I'd work too hard on that stenciled one. You have 4 stamps, and you have a full 13 by 8 stencil that is going to go on anything. So it's got no design in the center. It's all the same. So you're going to be able to make all kinds of things with that as well. And the style of it is awesome. And that's it. That's what I have for you today. I hope you guys love this. Sharon, dear, you have a glob of clay in your hair on the right side. Where? Right there? It could be a bald spot. I lost all my hair a while back. Unless it's up here. Maybe it's a bald spot. I'll have Mr. Wilson look. Thank you. On the right side. My right side? Right here? Oh, I see it. Yep, that's it. Well, that's okay. That's why I take a shower before I go to bed. How's that? Anybody have any questions before we go? Are all of you on the Sassy Swoopers waitlist? Those of you that were founders in the original program, that were still active, when we paused it. I think there were, I don't remember how many, but I have your names, I have your emails, and I have you in the group. I will be sending out emails. We're hoping to get you in this coming. We had hoped to do it by tomorrow, but we're not. We have one thing that we can't figure out. So by next week, we'll get you in, get you looking around, and then we're going to get the rest of you in. And we are super, super excited. And I absolutely love that Go Live feature that's in there. And the perks for you guys are going to be crazy. I talked to my founders. Oh yeah, and those of you that were actually in the group, though not founders, but were in the other group. Do you know, I just picked this up and stuck my finger in it. I forgot it was glazed on the bottom. Man, it's been a terrible day. I can fix that. But that was dumb. Anyway, those of you that were in the actual group as well, maybe not founders, but in the group, you guys will all get emails as well as an opportunity to get in on this. And it's going to be so different. You're going to get exclusive access to products. But all of our stuff isn't going to be about our products. We're going to have all kinds of things we're doing. A lot of the stuff that we do, if I use a template, you're going to have the ability to download it. My founders group, I talked to you guys about that months and months ago. So there's going to be all kinds of fun stuff. The reason there's going to be a lot of exclusive access to products, especially new products, is because, yeah, pour yourself a drink and go relax. Is because Mr. Wilson and I can't keep up. And so we have to do the Costco-ish style. So get in the Swoopers group, very inexpensive. You're going to have exclusive access, and we're going to run on the Costco method, meaning when you're in the membership, you can get to more of the product. Those that aren't in the membership, only if something doesn't completely sell out in the membership will it go to the outside. So with that, margarita time. Oh, I wish. You don't want to see me drink a margarita. Oh, no. Mr. Wilson, you do not need to chime in on that, by the way. All right, guys. We will see you soon. Where's my finish? Finish.